All right, I've looked back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So markets here, again, another chop day and lots of noise. Again, we talked about this last week, talked about it yesterday. This is still all just noise here as long as we are, there's the futures, but as long as we're inside of, oops, there we go. As long as we're inside of this range here, it's all just noise. And again, you're going to see we tested essentially that low, this low, and the previous all-time high again today. And again, closing back above by about a point or two or three. You can see the same thing here with the SPY. So if those of you follow that, still below or still above 525.18 and 521.64 on a closing basis. We're now, this 20 moving average is now catching up to price. It's now caught up to price enough that I think that you've corrected through time for long enough here. So I would say if the market wants to, if it can push higher. We do have a catalyst tomorrow as well, and Friday. Tomorrow we have PCE quarter one, and jobless claims as always, and then GDP from quarter one. So that'll be interesting. Consumer spending, also retail inventories, wholesale inventories, pending home sales, all that good stuff. And then April PCE will be Friday, obviously. So we have some catalysts coming up. And I do have some sell signals on volatility. We actually sold some volatility this morning in the trading room. I did close that out for a nice gain by the end of the day, just in case they want to spike the VIX up a little bit more. But I don't think we're going to go much past, at this point, I'd have to check it again, check the numbers again, but probably 1475, I would think is probably max move for the VIX, unless something really, I mean, if PCE quarter one like blows out like an insane amount tomorrow, like way past expectations, then you could see a vol spike, obviously. But I think even a slightly hotter than expected number, I think the market is pricing in a hotter than expected number. In fact, if we look at the 10-year, we've already kind of ripped up a little bit here. So bond market may already be kind of pricing that in to an extent. And another thing too, looking at, speaking of yields, so last 2 weeks here, the yield curves have gotten worse here. They flattened out, and then boom, bull steepener the last 2 days that have completely wiped out the last 10 to 12. So if the long end of the curve is going up, it's not necessarily a bad thing for stocks in the short term, if as long as those curves are starting to unwind. If they fully unwind, yeah, at some point would that be a negative? It likely will be, but usually that's not the case at first. But either way, rates inching up here, markets were down a little bit, and again, usual suspects doing a lot of the legwork, some of the big tech names. So again, lots more strength in the Qs, as you can see here. Didn't really get anywhere near the lows of the day after the morning. But that's essentially par for the course here for this market. Again, a lot of noise inside of this. And this is your breakout level, 53.25. Above that, I think, with conviction, we should, squeeze up pretty nicely. If we break this level here on a close, then I would say there's definitely some more backing and filling that could be in play here. But I don't really have us, going down that much, even if we do. So, again, that's the case right now, and we'll leave it at that until proven otherwise. Triple Qs here, again, down $3.24. Again, getting a little overzealous here with those kind of higher highs here. And that did back off. Again, we'll leave it at that right now. Same thing with the IWM. And the Dow actually is pretty interesting to me here. Again, I don't normally put a ton of, weight behind the Dow, but he did hit the 618 today and just pierce it by a little bit there. And I shared this earlier, but if we look at the futures, 4 hour, and we go to the RSI, you're going to see we're absolutely in the basement here. And I don't think we've been, again, not that it's the be all end all, it's the RSI. It could be staying oversold for a while, but you're at an 11. I don't think that, yeah, that's easily going back the lowest in the last 360 days. So probably even farther than that. Certainly lower than the last low on April 19th. So Dow very oversold. Wouldn't shock me to see a big bid tomorrow, even if PCE, like I said, comes in hotter than expected, or even just hot by like a little bit. Did we price enough of it in with the VIX spike today, and do we see a vol crush tomorrow? I think it's certainly a possibility to consider. But Dow pulling back here and into that 618. Semiconductors here, again, still strong, down 1.67% on the day. Maybe a little evening star there, though. I mean, we had a nice push yesterday, but the kind of gap down. We still finished basically inside of yesterday's range. Yeah, you can see a little bit more there on the stocks with that kind of evening star look. So yeah, maybe semiconductors here a little ahead of themselves. But again, closing above the double top on the weekly, always a good sign there. So semi's still leading the way. We've got IGV here down 23 cents, but actually came back pretty nicely and then didn't participate much in that last little dip. So IGV holding up nicely by the end of the day. A little volume surge there coming in towards the end of the day as well. And we talked about this level here on the daily. We gapped into that, and then we held it by the closing basis. So cloud software, holding up a little bit better. It's had a nice little dip, though, over the last couple of days. Dow Transport's here, new lows. So again, very weak sector. This has been in a lot of trouble here for a while. And what can you say? We've been talking about that lower highs there, and now we're piercing that double bottom. We'll see if this old trend line offers a little bit of support. Again, it is starting to get a little short-term oversold as well, but definitely a weak sector, and I do not like the chart. I haven't liked it for a long time. Rates we already kind of talked about and discussed, but you can see here the 2-year. If we can get that up. So basically flat here on the yield. Nothing really going on there, just kind of stalling out. And we talked about this area. Right, you had bulls accumulating up here, and then that's where it broke down. So it may need to consolidate here or pull back for a few days. And the same kind of premise is going, same for the 5s, right into that area. 10s, same thing, right into this area, 30s. So yields may need to back off a little bit here, but they've had a nice run and they got above that sell bar there. So yields holding back up, but watch those yield curves too if they're holding up. That could be a positive for markets, even if rates are going higher. XHB down today, testing the 100 moving average. We'll see if that gives us a bounce. Again, I don't have any great levels here for you on XHB right now. Let's get rid of these. We don't really need that anymore. Again, that was kind of your last test candle low. So 100 MA test candle, that might offer a bounce tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. I think, obviously PCE will be the catalyst to a lot of these things here. The NQ down 79 cents. Again, I don't like the chart. This was the last area before we broke out. So again, it could get a bounce here, a little short-term oversold, and we'll see what that does tomorrow. XLF was a little bit on the weaker side today, down 33 cents. Nothing terrible, but definitely still pulling back. KRE, this one was one. This is one that everybody was talking about today, at least from what I can see. I guess everyone's predicting a regional bank crash now. Maybe. We'll see. It's still holding up, though. I mean, we had a pretty good downdraft today, but you're holding this pivot here, so we'll see what we get tomorrow. Obviously, you want to see it hold 46. That would be your big line in the sand. Everything inside of that is just noise. KBE with the higher lows, though, which is obviously still showing us that it's in much better shape, and obviously we've noted that for quite a while now. So you see the weekly there, still fine. Broker dealers backed off as well, but again, this is still very strong. So oil today, so we got to the 80, we actually got through 80, 50, and again, just still can't hold it. Just still can't manage to stay above there on a closing basis. So, oil's still in a lot of trouble, not trouble, but oil's still weak and still struggling with this area. We'll see what it does tomorrow. I don't love it one way or the other at this point. If this comes back down and continues sideways, then I like it down. If it can firm up, then maybe you can have a counter trend move. But right now, it's just kind of a 50-50 here, and I don't really deal in that. So XLE down 1.7. This actually accounting for a lot of the spider weakness today was energy and oil backing off. Again, could it get a bid at the 100? It certainly can. And then there's 2. I really like it better at 87, though. So I'm still rooting for that level to get down there. We'll see how, if and when it gets in there. But again, still looking for that level. XOP, though, and the OIH both have like not slightly higher lows here. So they're in a little bit better shape. But I'm still just not really that interested in this sector right now. Just a lot of chop, a lot of grind, a lot of backing and filling. Uranium via CCJ, still very strong. URNM, again, still very strong. Nothing's changed on these in a long time here. So they're still holding up. Nat gas, we had a contract roll today, and we saw a pretty good sell after the rollover. I don't know if this is peaked out here. I could still see a little bit more upside potentially into that 3 handle, but we got to go on the end contract, which is what I've been using for a while anyway. Pretty good sell. I would be interested though tomorrow if this slices that 20 MA. I think it gets interesting. I think it's interesting, and 250 as well should be good support there. So that'd be an interesting play tomorrow. Is nat gas for maybe one more spike. I don't know if it results in a higher high, but I think you'll at least get one more good bid out of this. At least going into early June. Dollar with a good rally, finally closing above that red bar, so that's bullish for the dollar. So DXY holding up. Should be headed towards 105.50, maybe 106. As far as the yen is concerned, there's a lot of talk about that right now. Obviously, dollar climbing versus the yen. And, the thought is that obviously this is a big risk. Maybe, but they are, from my sources are telling me that they're already doing currency swaps. It's not, when they say that U.S. and Japan agreed on yen intervention, you know what that means. They didn't agree to it for nothing. Like, they didn't consult with each other for nothing. Because, obviously the alternative is selling treasuries, right? And I don't think that Janet Yellen wants that. So you figure out what they're doing. But it is inching up there, but dollar holding up still. Gold, no changes here. It did back off a little bit today. Again, still weekly consolidation. And silver, after the big day yesterday, stalling out. This should still make its way up to 35. No problems with that. And then platinum and palladium both backing off today, but again, nothing terrible really on either of those. Copper failing to follow through off the 20 MA. This looks like it still needs to do backing and filling, it way overbought. 460, 465 still first support. Big levels 425 if we get down there. All right, so again, Bitcoin here lastly. Again, backing off just a little bit today. Again, you still got the bullish inside bar though on the daily. If that fails, it's definitely not a good sign. You got these two kind of trend lines here. And I still have it going up to 74.5, 75. If it fails though, then we could see a little bit more of a downdraft here. But Bitcoin's still holding up, and again, no changes on really anything right now. So again, as long as we're inside of this range here, 52.65-ish to 53.25, it's all just chop, and right now it's consolidation through time, not price. So again, with that said, keep it simple here. We'll see what we get tomorrow. We have some catalysts finally. Maybe this market can get going here and figure out if it wants to move or just continue chopping around here and burning up premiums. So anyways, guys, kind of wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. We'll see you guys all tomorrow.